The sand has been in your eyes for 3 days. You are somewhere in the Taklamakan, which in the old Uyghur tongue means something close to you go in, you don't come out. And the caravan ahead has slowed to a crawl because 2 camels are sick, and the water in the clay jars is down to what a man can cup in both hands. The dunes ahead rise 40 meters, smooth and orange, and completely indifferent. Behind you, the last town was 6 days ago. Ahead, the next oasis is 2. You adjust the cloth across your face, lean into the animal's rhythm, and keep moving. This is day 31. But let us go back. Back to the beginning. To the city that made all of this feel possible. Back to Chang'an. It is the year 800 AD, and Chang'an is the largest city on Earth. 1 million people live within its walls. A grid of wide boulevards and covered markets so vast that a man arriving for the first time simply cannot take it in. The smell hits you first. Roasting meat, incense from a dozen Buddhist temples, horses, spices you have no names for yet. The sound is constant and layered. Merchants calling in 5 languages, the bells of a Nestorian Christian church mixing with the percussion of a Persian musician performing for coins in the Western market. This is the Tang dynasty at its height, and it believes correctly that it is the center of the world. Your cargo is silk. 40 bolts of the finest grade, wrapped in oiled cloth and loaded across 6 camels, plus lacquerware and porcelain, so carefully packed in straw it has its own dedicated animal. The total value is enough to buy a large house in Chang'an. In Baghdad, if you arrive, it will be worth 3 times that. The mathematics of the Silk Road are straightforward. The road itself is not. Your caravan leaves through the western gate on a morning in early spring, the air still cold, mountains beyond the wall still holding snow on their peaks. A small crowd watches from the gate. Traders who are not coming, families saying nothing because there is nothing useful to say. 32 merchants, Chinese, Sogdian, Persian, 1 Jew from somewhere near the Caspian, plus 60 camels, 12 horses, and 8 armed guards whose job is to look expensive enough that bandits calculate the odds and decide to wait for an easier target. The guards have never lost a caravan. You choose to believe this is skill and not luck. The first weeks are the most beautiful. The road follows the Hexi corridor through a landscape of impossible contrasts, oasis towns appearing every few days, each one a compressed world, mud walls, date palms, a covered bazaar smelling of cumin and leather, children who have never seen a face like yours watching from doorways. In Dunhuang, you stop for 4 days. The cave temples carved into the cliffs above the town contain Buddhist murals so luminous they seem to generate their own light. You sit in front of one for an hour and say nothing. Then, the Taklamakan opens in front of you and everything changes. There is no way around it. The desert is 1,000 kilometers across, and the route threads between chains of oases, each separated by days without water. The guides know exactly where the wells are, marked by posts and the bones of animals that didn't reach them in time. The camels are extraordinary, capable of carrying 200 kilograms for days without water. Their broad feet, designed by thousands of years of selection to move across soft sand. Day 31. The sick camels recover. The water holds. You cross in 19 days and emerge on the far side thinner, quieter, and permanently changed in some way you cannot yet name.
Move faster. The pass is still
The Pamir
far.
Mountains come next. The passes sit above 4,000 meters, and the air is so thin the horses stop every 100 steps to breathe. The cold at night seems to come from inside the rock itself, not the sharp cold of a Chang'an winter, but something deeper, more final. The Sogdian merchants move through it as though born here, which several of them were. You follow their pace exactly and ask no questions. On the far side, Central Asia opens in front of you, flat, vast, and and suddenly green after the mountains. Nomadic Turkic groups move across the grass with their animals, living in felt tents that can be assembled and dismantled in an hour. They watch the caravan pass with the patience of people who have been watching caravans pass for centuries and have learned exactly what to do with each kind. On day 47, you see the minarets of Samarkand rising above the plain, and something moves in your chest that you were not expecting. Samarkand is the crossroads of every road that matters. The place where Chinese silk meets Persian silver, meets Indian cotton, meets Byzantine glass. The bazaars contain objects from every civilization you have heard of and several you have not. You walk through the covered market for 2 hours and buy nothing because you cannot decide what to touch first. You stay 8 days. You sell a third of your silk at a price that makes the Persian merchants wince. You eat lamb cooked with saffron and dried apricots, fresh bread from clay ovens, a sweet made from pistachios and honey that you will spend years trying to find again. In the evenings, the caravanserai is full of merchants from a dozen nations comparing notes about roads and prices and bandits, the conversation shifting between languages mid-sentence, everyone understanding just enough to do business. The last 11 days to Baghdad flatten and dry until the Tigris and Euphrates appear as thin silver lines on the horizon. And then, the city itself. Enormous, walled, circular. Built by the Abbasid Caliph Harun al-Rashid, it is the intellectual capital of the world in 800 AD, home to the House of Wisdom, where scholars translate Greek philosophy into Arabic, invent algebra, and map the stars with instruments that will not be improved upon for centuries. You enter through the Khorasan gate on day 60. The silk sells in 3 hours. You sit that evening near the Tigris, eating dates, listening to water move through an irrigation channel, and you try to account for what 60 days has done to you. A desert with a name meaning death. Mountains above the clouds, a market in Samarkand, where a merchant from Tang, China haggled in broken Persian with a trader from Constantinople over Indian pepper. Both of them completely comfortable, because it had been happening here for 400 years before either of them was born. The Silk Road ran for over 1,000 years. The ideas it carried, Buddhism, Islam, papermaking, the compass, changed the structure of human thought. And it began and ended with a merchant adjusting the cloth across his face and deciding to keep moving. If this journey moved something in you, press like. Subscribe for more first-person voyages through history, and tell me in the comments, which would have broken you? The Taklamakan, the Pamirs, or the moment you finally saw Samarkand on the horizon?